Paul now gives an exhortation as to the words he just passed on to Timothy, which we went over last week. The words, consider what I say, are present and they are active. It gives a sense of consider what I am saying, okay? For this reason, some scholars tie his words not to what he has just said concerning the comparisons, concerning the soldier, the athlete, and the farmer, but what he is about to say. So people argue one way or another. What is he directing your mind to? But to what he is about to say concerning great and theologically weighty words about Jesus Christ in the verse to come. Either way, Paul is asking Timothy to reflect heavily upon his words. It is something that Timothy would certainly do concerning what has been said and what will also be said. From there, he says, and may the Lord give you understanding in all things. Okay, now the reason why this one says, may he give you, and his says, I think, will give, or may the Lord give, what? Not may.
The Lord will give you insight.
The Lord will give. Okay, a slight variation in the word will give in some manuscripts causes the sentence to read as yours does, for the Lord will give you understanding in all these things. So it depends on what text you're reading, and it's either a subjunctive verb or it is a, what would be, he would, anyway, he will give. So that would be future. So whether Paul is making a petition or whether he is stating this as a certainty doesn't actually change the intent of the words as much as some might argue, because people will argue, well, see, that text is correct because, and, you know, I mean, if you, I tell you, I found this out a lot. When you translate something or when you transcribe something, it is so easy to make an error. It is so easy. I have been shocked at how easy it is to go back and say, that's not what I meant, and that's what I did anyway. Now imagine somebody one letter at a time, going from word to word, line to line. You got lines that are very similar here and here, and your eye goes up to this one or it goes down to that one. And it's hi, Shep. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, whether he's making a petition or whether he's stating as a certainty, it doesn't change the intent. And like I said, doing translations and stuff can be a little bit complicated. Doing copy, I understand perfectly why you can look at a text and you can make errors. After doing this myself, it just is so easy to do. And you go back and think, how did that even happen? It's just, you think, whatever. So the reason that Paul began the sentence with, consider what I say, Timothy must first make an active attempt to think on Paul's words before a result will come. In doing so, he either prays for his protege to gain an understanding, something one would anticipate the Lord granting, or he confidently states that the Lord will provide needed understanding. Either way, once again, there are disputes as to what is on Paul's mind, and we find that all the time. We read something from somebody we know personally, and we think that they're angry at us when they're not, or we think that they're kidding when they're not, and, misunderstandings happen all the time. Well, when you're reading words that are in a theological dissertation, basically, in this epistle, you don't really know what's on Paul's mind. So people argue over these things, but Timothy must first make an active attempt to think on Paul's words before a result will come. In doing so, he either prays for his protege to gain an understanding, which is something one would anticipate the Lord granting, or he confidently states that the Lord will provide needed understanding. Okay, so you got these, the word there, will give or may he give, changes the entire thought in some sense. It doesn't change it in the overall sense, but it changes it in how you are perceiving what's being said.
Right.
So there you go. Either way.